Hey everybody, how's everybody doing? Today we're going to talk about something that the lamestream media won't even touch. We're going to talk about the real truth about Donald J. Trump. About how he is not who he presents himself as. How he is actually a weather underground sleeper agent that has been activated to bring about a new era of communism in the United States. Now, I know that sounds crazy, and people are probably going to tell you you're crazy, but trust me, by the end of this video, you'll know that you're the only one who's still sane. Let's start with the obvious one, our most sacred institution in this country, the military. I'm sure that we've all noticed that Donald Trump seems to be quite aggressive towards our allies. He demonizes NATO. Now, if you don't know too much about how NATO was formed, it was basically formed after World War II to stop the communist USSR from expanding. It was a capitalist alliance with the intended purpose of controlling communism. And I mean, even that on its face, we have to really wonder, what are Mr. Trump's intentions when he attacks this institution that was created to stop communism? I mean, he has voiced his opposition to NATO attempting to annex Ukraine. He's been very hostile towards that war, almost supportive of Russia, one would say. And we know he's not supportive of Russia. But it is strange that he is attempting to keep Ukraine from joining NATO, almost as if he has another plan for it that spoiler alert, involves China. But we'll get to that a little later. But I just want to really point out that specifically, his hatred of NATO. Let's just keep that in the back of our minds for the rest of this video. And let's move on to what he's doing to our military specifically. I mean, he's firing 4-star generals left and right, which is destabilizing our military, destabilizing the chain of command. Lamestream media thinks it's about something simple like, oh, he's trying to put people in power who are only loyal to him. But that's not necessarily true. It's just about destabilizing the West and destabilizing America. And if it's not his intention, it sure is strange that would be the end result, don't you think? I mean, he's also defunding the VA, which our heroes rely on, and he's also defunding colleges, which helps to de-incentivize people who may be thinking about joining the military to further their lives. He's abolishing DEI policies, despite the fact that 45% of the military is non-white and 17% are women. Why would he want to be in a position where he can fire half the military unless he plans to fire half the military? I mean, he's appointed Pete Hegseth, a known alcoholic, to be the Secretary of Defense. And again, Democrats, they try to make it like, oh, well, he likes this guy because he's loyal to him. But Trump isn't small-minded like that. He's thinking of the bigger picture. He's thinking about accomplishing his goals. That's why he put an alcoholic in charge of the military, and why he's actively weakening it, while he's weakening NATO. And it doesn't just end with the traditional military. He's purging the FBI and auditing the CIA to expose their anti-Marxist operations. I mean, Why would you want to defund the FBI? These are the people who destroyed communist movements in the United States, like the Black Panthers, like the Students for a Democratic Society. I mean, why would you want to go after these people who are so fervently anti-Marxist? I mean, the CIA has been behind overthrowing many elected socialist governments to save these countries from the bad decisions that they've made. I mean, obviously Nicaragua is a perfect example, or El Salvador, obviously, which has paid off for us spectacularly. Guatemala. Uh, I mean, the list really goes on and on. And I mean, the CIA and the FBI, they sometimes work in tandem to help destroy these Marxist groups, such as, obviously the Iran-Contra affair, where the CIA was selling cocaine to the FBI, who then used it to make crack and destroy the Marxist Black Panthers. And then they would take that cocaine money and they would use it to buy weapons and give them to Iran, who would help them fight Iraq, which, also helps slow the stem or the tide of communism, I should say, because we all know the real difference between Islam and communism is simply semantic. They are the same thing. I mean, what they want is to destroy good Christian people like us, and it's the FBI and the CIA who we rely on to keep the enemy within in check. I mean, he's clearly has an agenda of weakening America on the world stage, and it's not an accident. I mean, it's not about his ego. He's not an idiot. He's clearly has a trans-communist agenda in his decision-making on our foreign policy. There's simply no other good explanation, but it doesn't just end with the military. It would be bad enough if it did, to show such disrespect to our greatest institution, but it goes farther than that. For the next thing, I'm going to need you to remember back to 2020, to Donald Trump's first term, and the Trump lockdowns, where Trump shut the country down, which led to the complete destruction of small business in this country. It helped to funnel money away from hardworking people and into the pockets of corporations, which I'll demonstrate really lends itself to Trump's view of a command economy. If you're not familiar with the term command economy, that's similar to it's a communist economy where a small group of people control all of the wealth, and the government more or less decides how everything is going to go, how what goods are going to be distributed, and small business really stands in the way of that goal. And I mean, that's not even to mention Operation Warp Speed, where the Trump administration pumped billions, if not trillions of dollars into creating a vaccine that we all know is poison and turned people into trans Democrats, that he funded extensively to support the pharmaceutical industrial complex. And we see him continue this to this day with his opposition to pretty much anything that would allow a diversification of care amongst the medical industry. And I mean, with his tariffs, I mean, this is also just part of his plan that he started in the beginning to destroy small business. Because these tariffs, he frames it as, oh, this is going to help America, but in actuality, the parts to create the products that these small businesses are selling, they all come from China. And large companies like Target and such, they can bear the brunt of it, but the small businesses can't. But let's go back to 2020 again. I mean, in addition to locking down the entire country and creating this poisonous vaccine that spreads autism and transgender ideology, he also printed a lot of money. A lot. He doubled the amount of money in circulation, which devalued our currency, which is a Stalinist idea. This is what Stalin did in Russia, because the end goal of communism is a cashless, stateless society where we all worship the devil. And using a technique that Stalin used, I mean, I guess there are times when there would be some overlap between a free society and what Stalin did, but devaluation of currency is Marxism 101. And I mean, even now he's creating this reserve of cryptocurrency, and crypto is communism. I mean, anything that's difficult to understand is made intentionally difficult to understand in an attempt by Marxist college professors who are trying to conceal their Stalinist, Leninist views. And that's exactly what crypto is. It's something that is obtuse on purpose in order to hide its Leninist tendencies. I mean, and it's also part of Trump's attempt to centralize the economy with only those that show loyalty to his power, because he is subservient to the Chinese and to the Vietnamese and to the North Koreans and the communist puppet masters that he was raised to praise while he was a member of the Weather Underground. I mean, all of these tariffs have just funneled so much money to Vietnam, communist Vietnam, because the tariffs don't apply to Vietnam, they only apply to China. So China just simply moves its end stage production to Vietnam, and then the Vietnamese, they ship the products, bypassing the tariffs and continuing to support China, all while American small businesses are being hurt. And this is clearly intended to help the communist cause. Like all communists, he makes what he's offering sound reasonable. Like, he wants to cut energy prices in half. But what does that mean? It means he wants the state to control the energy. That's the only way he would be able to lower prices if it was publicly owned. But I mean, of course, in a communist society, the public doesn't truly own anything. It's a command economy. It's centrally planned, and all he's really doing, and it's quite on purpose, is destabilizing the West, making us look bad, and in the process making China look great. I mean, China offers housing based on income, low income housing. China offers free college. It offers free health care. All in it, and this is all bad. This is all bad stuff that we don't want here. And I mean, you see him, trying to force Mexico into a similar position, trying to get them to centralize their economy as well, so that we can merge the North American continent as a communist continent. And I mean, I don't see how anybody could argue to the contrary. Again, lamestream media is going to pass this off as bad governance, but we all know Donald Trump is not stupid. If he wasn't stupid, he wouldn't have got so many votes. You know, the American people are not stupid, and the American people elected Donald Trump unknowingly, uh, unknowing to the fact, I should say, that he is this evil, satanic communist. If you're still not convinced, let's just look at some of the things that Donald Trump says about communist leader Xi Jinping. I mean, he said multiple times that Xi is a brilliant man. He says it all the time. He is once quoted as saying, "I want China to do great. We have evil people in our country." Now, I don't know why he wouldn't point out that China has evil people in it, but America does. Probably because he thinks Xi Jinping is so brilliant. He said of Xi Jinping and North Korean leader Kim Jong Un, they're all top of the line. Our guy is not top of the line. Never was. Speaking of Biden, of course, who was, of course, also communist. These are top of the line people at the top of their game. President Xi is a brilliant man. If you went all over Hollywood to look for somebody to play the role of President Xi, you couldn't find him. There's nobody like that. The look, the brain, the whole thing. And this is all part of communist dictator worship that we see. There's no reason to bring up the way that he looks unless you are truly indoctrinated, unless you truly believe that Xi Jinping is this great leader. There's no reason to talk about Kim Jong Un as a brilliant man unless you truly do think that he is a brilliant man. He further goes on to talk about Xi Jinping to say we get along great. It was a great chemistry we had. And to say of Kim Jong-il, how smart, or Kim Jong-un I should say, how smart is Kim Jong-un? Top of the line. You know, he's even said, and this is his true idea here, China and the United States together can solve all of the problems of the world. Now, we know only America can solve the problems of the world. I mean, we've solved every problem that's ever come up so far. We invented democracy. We invented the internet. We invented everything that's even worth mentioning in this world. I guess the French, they made wine, but other than that, what is there to praise about China? Like, what is there really to talk about with China? And you know, he goes on to further trash the Western way of life when he says, "I'm not happy with the European Union, and we're going to win that battle. It's a financial battle." Now, when he's talking about a financial battle with Europe, all he can really be talking about is the battle between communism and capitalism. And it seems very clear when he says that we're in a battle with Europe, what side he's really on. He goes on further to say that Canada is one of the worst, another capitalist country. He says that China is great, but Canada is one of the worst, and that we're in a battle with Europe. He even goes on to talk about the Hong Kong protests and say that President Xi has acted responsibly. Now, we know that the Hong Kong protesters were demonstrating for greater capitalism, like greater capitalist autonomy. They were tired of living under the rule of the satanic transgender communists, and President Trump thinks President Xi acted responsibly by crushing their protests. And then when he's called out for praising Xi so much, he says the media doesn't like it. Well, the media is capitalist. That's really, if you really put together the pieces, that's what he's really saying, is that capitalists don't like him. And he loves communism. He tries to hide this behind, ideas of culture war and such, but in actuality, it is truly a battle of communism versus capitalism, of evil versus good. And if we really look at it, he's been telling us all this for a long time. I mean, one of his most famous quotes is, "We must keep America first in our hearts. We must keep freedom alive in our souls." Now, not a lot of people would catch this, but if you just change the word America with Vietnam, that is a direct quote from communist leader Ho Chi Minh. He's quoting Ho Chi Minh. Another Ho Chi Minh quote that Trump has parroted: "No matter our race or color, religion or creed, we are one." This is just communist bullshit that nobody has bothered to call out. The media won't call it out. That's why we have to call it out. Another one: "We take major strides towards a future in which people of all faiths and backgrounds live together in peace and prosperity." Now, we know that America is only for Christians. So why would he say this? And that is because, again, he's quoting Ho Chi Minh, who is also, Ho Chi Minh is quoting Mao Zedong there, but it came out of Trump's mouth. He also quotes Mao Zedong in saying, "In times of difficulties, we must not lose sight of our achievements." That's straight out of the Little Red Book. That's straight Maoist propaganda. He goes further in a different interview to say, "The people and the people alone are the motivating force in the making of world history." That's Mao Zedong. He says, again, privately, we have no proof that he really said that, but "My fear was not of death itself, but a death without meaning." Now that is a direct quote from Huey Newton, communist leader of the Black Panther Party, who were destroyed by the FBI that he's trying to destroy. These are things that we should really think about. Why does this guy love quoting communists so much? And Trump claims he loves democracy so much, but as Karl Marx said, democracy is the road to socialism. Democracy is the road to socialism. And that's why Trump speaks of democracy the way he does, because that is the world that he envisions. A world run by Xi Jinping, with Satan himself at the throne of the world economy, of the new world order, which he intends to create. Now, he's been telegraphing this to us for a while. Remember when he held that Bible upside down to signify, where he stands, and when he refused to put his hand on the Bible at his second inauguration, he was letting us know that he's with the secularists. He's with the trans agenda. He's with the Marxists, the communists, the anarchists, and the people who just don't know what they're doing. Do we have solid proof that Donald Trump was raised communally with the Weather Underground? No, we don't. Because all of the information that we have is controlled by the elites. And when you can't trust Google, you can't trust the lamestream media, you sure can't trust the Democrats to tell you what's really going on. Just because we don't have proof that he isn't a communist sleeper cell doesn't mean that he It doesn't mean that he isn't. I mean, there's no proof that he's not. There's no proof that he's not. And that is what I really want to hammer home, because, I mean, we look at everything that he's doing. And, I mean, the media will chalk it up to just incompetence. But that can't possibly be true. I mean, clearly Donald Trump is a genius. He's one of the smartest people that's ever lived. That's how he got so rich. Now, you might be saying, how could he get so rich if he's a communist? Communism's, it shuns wealth, and it's because he is deep undercover. I mean, we don't know who put him up to it. It could have been bin Laden. It could have been the Ayatollah. It could have been any form of Satanist who got to Donald Trump at some point, and that have been helping him to hide his true intentions. And it's unfortunate that so many people fell for it without really putting the critical thought into it to realize that Donald Trump is a Marxist Trumpist. He's a communist, and he always has been. So I know people are going to tell you you're crazy. People are going to tell you, oh, that's a conspiracy, this and that. But is it? Is it really? I mean, can you prove that it's not? Of course not. The only information, again, that you can get is censored. It's censored to hide the truth. I mean, nobody's going to tell you that, but I'm telling you that. And I know that I am going to have to keep a gun by my nightstand from now on, because I'm exposing the truth about the international communist agenda with which Trump has chosen to take part in. And perhaps the sweet Lord Jesus will forgive him, but we as the American people cannot. God will judge Donald Trump for what he's done. He will. Just like he'll judge all the gays and the Californians. Just keep your faith in God. That's all we can do.